Hello and welcome, fellow sovereigns. Today is a slightly political chat. Um, so if you're incredibly happy with the way that our world is, with our society, then you might want to switch off now. Because we're going to be, what do you mean we? Me. I'm going to be talking about kind of politics, but not. And this was brought up because I went to a meeting on Wednesday night. It's a group that's been formed around Australia to, how do I put this? They're not woke, they are awake, that's what they call themselves, and they're out there helping each other, kind of doing the opposite of what the government's doing, and setting up all sorts of initiatives, gardening and money exchanges and all sorts of other ways of supporting each other through education and books and all the rest of it. Kind of like an underground movement, if you like. And there's plenty of them going on. So I went to the meeting. And the meeting was in two halves, kind of, as it happened. So initially there was a lady who had written a book called You Can't Say That, a local person, and she was talking about what's happened over the last 4 or 5 years, which has actually been going on for about 30 years, but it's only become, it's like the iceberg. The biggest part's been going on for a very long time, and we're just noticing what's going on since about 2000 and whatever, 1920. And she had this idea that if we don't like the current political climate, we don't like the society, we don't like what's going on, what we can do is create another one. Just quietly get on and create a new society, a new way of being, kind of a new, different level. So that we've got people going, and eventually the old one will fall away. And that absolutely accords with what's his name? Buckminster Fuller, who said many years ago, he's the guy that invented the geodesic dome and lots of cars, great inventor, very amazing intellect and inventor. Anyway, so his idea was that if you don't like what's going on, you simply create something else that's more effective, that's more healthy, so that the old system becomes obsolete. And I suppose it's like when you're replacing a pair of shoes or something. If your shoes are worn out or they're too small or you don't like them or whatever, you don't have to smash them up and then go and get another pair. You just go and get another pair. And I guess that's kind of Buckminster Fuller's idea. And it was this lady's idea as well, from what I could gather what she said. And then the second half of the evening became very loud, because there were a group of people who thought that wasn't the way you create change. It wasn't the way that we should be doing change right now. What we should be doing is fighting the government. And we should be taking them to court, and we should be retribution and Nuremberg type trials about all the people who have been doing bad things to us and all of that sort of stuff. And it became a very noisy meeting. And the quiet ones, I'm one of the quiet ones, believe it or not, were drowned out by the vociferous those who wanted to, kill the old system and have all the politicians and the police and all of the whoever's involved, scientists, have them all in jail. And so this woman's talk kind of just got, it dissolved into, and she had just kind of had to back away and let the noise be, because silence doesn't overrule noise when you're in a meeting. So it seems to me that it's either ideas or there's noise, and you can't have both together. I'm being a bit cynical. And I'm obviously, you can tell what side of the fence I'm on. However, I don't know how long we've been trying to fight the government. And people have been doing it, and some people have been doing it successfully, I guess. The police, a group of policemen who were forced to leave the police or had to get, that thing, have been paid out a massive amount of money because they took the police department to court down in Melbourne, I think it was. And then the opposite happened over in Perth. They took the police department to court there, and the judge said, no, it's fine for the police department to force that onto all of its employees, and those who didn't want to have it, they can lose their jobs. That's fine. So there's been a lot of fighting going on. There's been a lot of legal action going on, and people wanting to have trials, Nuremberg trials for all of these people who are, I saw one the other day about Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand and the previous Prime Minister and the current one, both called Chris. People saying they should all be hung up and I don't know that that's the society we want. We've had a violent society, which is what we're objecting to, I think, in general. We've had an invasion of our privacy, and that's still going on. We've had people being beaten up and thrown into jail without cause. We've had grandmothers who've been gassed in the street and all sorts of... So we've had a violent society, and that's what we don't want. So to use violence to get rid of violence, I don't know that we're taking any steps forward. Even the whole revenge thing that people want on those who committed crimes against humanity, I don't know that that's how we really want to start our new society, if a new society is going to start. Because the opposite of the violent, careless, whatever, is a society of compassion, a society of caring, a society of empathy and understanding and getting to understand each other and communicating. And while it's very easy to fall into the anger and the I hate these people, I want to get rid of them, it's easy to do that. It's great juice for the unresolved hate I have inside of me to then project it out there. It's a very simple thing to do. I don't like my life. I don't like myself, and therefore what I'm going to do is send that not like out to somebody else out there. It doesn't create a nice... I don't think it creates the society we actually really want. If we want to start with compassion, if we want to start with peace, if we want to start with love, if we want to start a society with understanding, let us start it like that. Let us not start it with trials and retribution, and some have even suggested hanging people from the trees. If we want a society of love, compassion, companionship, connection, let us start that. Let us start that way. And instead of trying to destroy that which we don't want, we can, as Buckminster Fuller suggested, and this author, I better not use her name without asking her, and lots of people, other quieter people, are saying, if we want to create a new society that's based on compassion and love and peace and warm-heartedness, we can do that without fighting the current one. We can start a new currency, we can start a new economy, we can start a new healing system, we can start a new education system, we can start a new kind of business system where we're all working together. And that can work in parallel with the current system, or outside the system almost. And that's actually what's going on. It's what's happening. It's a silent revolution. And it's so, I feel so blessed to be a part of that. And so we have these meetings where we, it's definitely a challenge. Because when we have these meetings and we bring people together, there are always the noisy ones who want to take over, and they do take over. And so us quiet ones just leave the room. Because we know that we're doing it. We know that we are creating this quiet, compassionate revolution, let's say. And the noisy ones will always have their say. Well, they will have their say until they then get in touch with their own angst. And when they see the peace arising, they will want a part of it. Where did that come from? How long, have you guys just been... No, it's been going on for a very long time. The peace initiative. I don't know, people calling it all sorts of things. And people are calling it nothing at times. It's just something that's quietly happening. There are doctors who are getting together from... I know there's a group of doctors who are up in Gympie, which is north of Brisbane, let's say. So there's a dentist, a physiotherapist, a chiropractor, a doctor, and a group that are forming a group that are part of the TGA, but part of the medical group. So there's lots of groups that are forming, and very, very, very few people know about it because they're the silent ones. And how do you find them? I guess it's a bit like the Abraham Hicks thing. Is if you wanting to manifest something, there are 3 stages. First is you decide what you want. I want a peaceful society. The next thing is the universe will almost immediately make it available, deliver it, let's say. It then takes us to the 3rd step, which is we need to align with that which is available. So when I'm in anger, I will not see peace. When I'm in bitterness, I will not see gratitude. And so on. So I need to align myself with the peace that's around. So people ask me, how do I find these groups? And I say, align. Get in touch with your anger. Get in touch with your bitterness. Get in touch with your disappointment. Get in touch with all those angsts. Is there a plural for angst? Get in touch with all of those and do the work. And when they go, what will be left is, oh my God, there's all these people around. All these peaceful people, and that's what I've been looking for. But you cannot see that when you're in bitterness or regret or shame. When those negative emotions are in the way, you will not be able to see, or they just won't be apparent. And suddenly when you start letting those things go, you'll find that the neighbour right next door is part of it, or somebody that you know, and I didn't realise you were in this organisation without organisation. So the noisy ones are there, and we can get really upset about them trying to stop the peace coming in. Or we can let them go, knowing that we actually all want the peace, but we can't have it while we are still holding on to the bitterness in our hearts, in our guts, in our minds, in our wherever we're holding it. This is not where I was going to be talking about today, but anyway, here we go. This is where we're at. And so There are peace movements going on right now, but they're not noisy. They are quiet movements, individual by individual by individual, slowly gathering and getting together. Doctors getting together, teachers getting together, business people getting together, gardeners getting together, therapists getting together. They're doing it under, if you like, underground, under the radar, because the radar is noisy. It's out there. People are going, oh, I want retribution, I want revenge. Underneath is that peace. And when we step out of our noise and into our peace, oh, there they are. There's the chiropractor I was looking for. There's the teacher I was looking for my kids. There's the whatever. And so these two movements are going on. One is wanting to destroy the current system, the noisy, and the other is wanting to just create a new system that becomes so effective and so wholesome, let's say, that the old system becomes obsolete. It just dies away. And so we'll have politicians and scientists and all those people yelling and screaming, and we'll just be going, go make your noise. Let them go. They will be obsolete. It's the squeaky wheels. They have no use. I don't know what I wish you. I wish you the attention to the anger, the negative feelings that you've got, and